You know that feeling, right? That little twist in your gut, the moment you walk away from a deal, the one that whispers, oof, you could have done better. You just got played. We have all been there. And here on Unspoken Rules, we're all about decoding those hidden scripts that run our lives. Today, we're pulling back the curtain on the art of negotiation.
I mean, think about it. The last time you tried to get a better deal on a car, that awkward conversation about a raise, even just haggling at a flea market. You go in with your facts, your figures, your logical reasons, ready to play fair. And somehow you walk out feeling like you were fumbling around in a dark room while the other person had night vision goggles.
And here's the thing, it's really not your fault. Most of us are taught a set of negotiation rules that sound perfectly reasonable, but in the real world, they completely fall apart. We're told to be logical, aim for that win-win scenario, always try to get to yes. But what if I told you those very rules are the reason you're losing? The actual game of human interaction has a totally different playbook, and it's one nobody ever hands you.
Yeah, you heard me. The game is rigged. The conventional wisdom we're all fed isn't just a little off. It's a trap. It's built on this completely flawed idea that people are rational beings. And, well, no one learned this lesson better than a guy whose day job involved negotiating when everything was on the line, where one wrong word could lead to the worst possible outcome.
So forget your business school professors for a minute. This is Chris Voss. His job title? Lead International Kidnapping Negotiator for the FBI. Seriously, his counterparts weren't sales managers, they were hardened criminals, terrorists, and bank robbers. For Chris Voss, a bad negotiation didn't mean a smaller commission, it meant the stakes were as high as they could possibly get. And what he learned in those trenches turns everything we think we know about persuasion completely on its head.
Just let that sink in for a second. It's the exact opposite of what we're taught, right? We're told to be assertive, take charge, be the one in control. Voss says, nope. The real power move is to make the other person feel like they're in the driver's seat. Why on earth would you do that? Because the moment someone feels they have control, their defenses drop. They relax. And that is when the real, honest conversation can finally start.
Okay, so how do you actually do that? How do you give someone the illusion of control? Well, it starts by taking our biggest, most trusted tool, logic, and throwing it right out the window. We're so conditioned to believe that if we just lay out the facts perfectly, the other person will have no choice but to agree. It's like we think people are computers. You input data, you get a logical result. But that's not how humans work. We are emotional creatures. Every single decision we make, from what we eat for lunch to who we marry, is driven by emotion. The unspoken rule is this: you can't persuade the mind until you've connected with the heart. The FBI's real secret weapon wasn't a better argument. It was a deeper understanding. Now, the key word here is tactical. This isn't about being fluffy or nice. It's not about agreeing with them or feeling sorry for them. Tactical empathy is a skill. It's the act of actively understanding the other person's world and then vocalizing that understanding. It's saying things like, it sounds like you're in a tough spot here, or it seems like you're worried about X. You're not agreeing, you're just showing them that you get it. It's a tool for gathering intel and building rapport, not for giving in. And here's one of the easiest ways to put this into practice. Just change your voice. You know that voice, right? The late night radio DJ, smooth, calm, slow, with a downward inflection at the end of the sentence. When you speak like that, you're non-verbally telling the other person's brain, hey, I'm not a threat, everything's cool. It literally calms them down and makes them more open to what you have to say. So does this stuff actually work in the wild? Well, Voss tells this incredible story. He's at an airport in Malaysia. He's about to miss a super important flight. So he does what we all dream of doing. He cuts a 40-person security line. But of course, he gets flagged. He's got a water bottle. The security agent is not happy. As this annoyed agent walks over to deal with him, Voss calmly looks at him and, in that DJ voice, says this.
Can you just imagine? The agent's entire face just changed. He was expecting an argument, a frantic explanation, maybe some begging. Instead, he gets this totally unexpected, human moment of humor. Voss didn't argue the facts. He didn't plead his case. He used empathy to completely short-circuit the confrontation and change the entire emotional tone of the situation.
And the result was just stunning. The agent laughed, let him finish his water, and then personally walked him to the very front of the line to make sure he caught his flight. Let that sink in. He went from being a problem to being a priority in a matter of seconds. That right there is the mind-bending power of tactical empathy. It doesn't just nudge the conversation, it rewrites the entire game. All right, so rule number 1 is to ditch cold, hard logic for tactical empathy. But the next unspoken rule we've got to break is even more radical. It means taking a word that we've been taught to fear our entire lives and learning to love it. From the time we're toddlers, we're taught that no is bad. In sales and romance and business, no feels like a slammed door. It feels like failure. But Voss says that's completely backward. He argues that no isn't the end of the negotiation, it's the start of it. Think about it. Yes is often just a cheap and easy way to make you go away. But no is where things get interesting.
The moment someone says no, something magical happens. They feel safe. They feel in control. They've put up their shield, and now they can finally relax. That is your opening. That's when you can genuinely ask, okay, I get it. What part of this doesn't work for you? Or what are you looking for? Hearing no doesn't mean you've lost. It means you've finally given the other person enough room to tell you the truth.
So this brings us to the biggest, most important, unspoken rule of all. If we're not trying to get to yes and no is actually a good thing, then what in the world is the finish line? What's the secret signal that tells you you've actually truly connected? The ultimate goal is not yes. It's not even you're right, which often just means please stop talking. The two magic words you are desperately trying to hear, the ones that signal a true breakthrough, are that's right. There's a world of difference. Yes is an agreement. That's right is an epiphany. I mean, just think about all the useless yeses you get every day. You've got the counterfeit yes. That's the one people use when they just want to escape the conversation. Then there's the confirmation yes, like answering, is today Tuesday? And finally, you have the commitment yes, which is a real agreement. But even that, the best kind of yes, pales in comparison to the real product. That's right is the sound someone makes when they feel completely, totally, and profoundly understood. It's what they say when you have summarized their feelings and their situation so perfectly that they feel like you've read their mind. That's the click. That's the moment their brain flips the switch from me versus you to us versus the problem. That is the moment the real deal gets made. Okay, so empathy is your superpower, no is your starting pistol, and that's right is the finish line. Mind-blowing stuff, right? But how do we actually use this? I want to leave you with a couple of practical tools, a new playbook you can start using tomorrow. So first, for the big ticket items, you're buying a car, negotiating a salary. Voss has this killer technique called the Ackerman Model. It's basically a step-by-step haggling system that's designed with one psychological goal in mind, to make the other person feel like they fought an epic battle and squeezed every last drop out of you, even when they land exactly where you wanted them to. Here's how it works. First, you know your target price. Let's say it's $20,000. Your first offer is way low, at 65%. Then you come up in 3 increments, but, and this is key, each jump gets smaller. So you go to 85%, then 95%, and then for your final offer, you land on your target price, but you make it a weird specific number, like $20,173. It just sounds like you've done the math and that's your absolute limit. Then you throw in a non-monetary item, like, and I'll need floor mats, to show you have absolutely nothing left to give. It's beautiful. But look, you don't need a whole system just to buy a t-shirt. For everyday stuff, here's a much simpler tool. Just use your name. Voss tells his story of just playfully asking, so what's the crisp price on this? It's charming, it's a little bit funny, and it instantly makes a cold transaction feel like a warm human interaction. You'd be shocked how often it works. So go on, try it. Ask for the your name price. The worst they can do is say no, and as we now know, that's just the start of the conversation. When you really think about it, almost every single conversation we have is a form of negotiation. From the boardroom to the breakfast table, we are constantly trying to connect, persuade, and understand. So now that you know the hidden rules, what's the one thing you could change tomorrow? Now, the final unspoken rule of this channel is that great ideas need to be shared. The best way to do that is to hit the like button, which is your way of telling the system to show this to more people. And if you want to make sure you never miss another hidden script, well, that subscribe button is your all-access pass. Leave a comment below and tell us which one of these rules you're going to try out this week. Let's see what you learn.